folks. It's Hobby Talk with PSA Canada for March the 2nd, 2023. We are rapidly approaching the expo. It feels like there's a little bit of time, but it's only April. Luke, do you remember what part of April? I don't remember. I feel like it's the middle.
It is.
It's the
It's
middle of it.
the exact date is April
Mhm.
20th, or sorry, yeah, 20th to the 23rd.
So we're maybe a month and a little under 2 months. So we're getting there. We're rapidly approaching it, so pretty good. I kind of start keeping an eye on it once we're under just a shy of 2 months because it's like, look, the month of March, February is a quick month of March, and right now is the weather. Hopefully, not this weekend, but hopefully as the weather starts warming up and getting a little bit better, then time starts flying, and all of a sudden, as soon as you're in April, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Good evening, Dave. All right, let's see.
I'll say Dave, and Dave sent me an excellent email that I am very intrigued by. So
Very good,
look,
very good.
see if I can get some answers, Dave. But thank you for sharing that. It was very interesting. If you want,
So this is a continuation. This is a continuation from that last discussion. So very good. Glad you followed through, Dave. So good stuff.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, Staggy Joel. So hey guys, see you Sunday, Luke. Good stuff. Love the last live, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate it. That was a lot of fun watching Luke open up a very expensive product that I got to vicariously enjoy like the rest of us.
It was fun.
Well, listen, as long as you had fun, that's the important part. That's the important part. Good evening, Eric. Here you go, Alex. What's up? Good evening. Absolutely. By the way, not related to it, obviously different product. I didn't actually know this was a product. I found out about this one. Did you guys see that there is that there's like an SP, I guess it's like SP Legends Edition or something like that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah.
So I started scanning through it. I was like, you're going to do this to me, aren't you? You're going to do it. I'm scanning through 18 Medana cards. I hate you
18.
all. 18. And by the way, there's a Future Watch Medano in it out of 99. Because of course there is. Of course there is. And I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna have to behave myself. Like I'm gonna have to restrain myself. But I'm not a fan. Is what I'm saying right now. I don't need this in my life. I don't need this in my life right now, Brad. I don't need it. I need to be good. I need to be good right now. That's what I need to do. And I think it's coming out. Isn't it coming out next week? Supposedly that's because they've got the checklist now. So I think it's supposed to be the 8th or I feel like I'm in the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, ooh. I'm not going to be. I should avert my eyes from eBay is what I should be doing once that happens. But I might have to be like, Anyway, I thought Luke might be delivering pizza tonight for pay for those boxes. He's got to do what he's got to do, man. The selling process is in progress, so they're starting to chip away at trying to get that one back. It wasn't a cheap opening, but at the same time, we were chatting about it, and Luke had fun. So as long as he had fun, I think that's good. And hopefully the folks that watched it seem to enjoy it, so that's always a good thing. So that's a really important piece of that puzzle. But yeah, I keep an eye. By the way, that stupid product, that SP1, is still considered 2020, 2021. Like, come on, guys, really? I think that's supposedly the last one. That should be the last one that falls under that. But that's my understanding.
But it's cheap, I think. Sorry, go ahead, Brad.
It was initially supposed to be a good affordable box to open, but I guess I already seen like pre-sales and what people are putting it out there for, and it's jacked up like the other stuff is too.
Really well.
Well, the thing is, if you look at it, what's supposed to be in it, it's a big checklist, but it feels like there's some decent stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens. Is this a show where we smash the like button? Absolutely, Josh. 100%. 100%. Eric would have it no other way. Good evening, Yannick. Any chance PSA would ever put a grading headquarters in Canada? I don't think a grading headquarters necessarily. A grading place, that's something we would love. Something we would love to see. You can speak to this, Brad, but it's one of those things like, we agree it would be a good idea. And look, we've separately shared feedback going, hey, it would be a good idea.
It's going to be exciting. So again, I mentioned last week, but we head to California on Monday, and we'll be there for two full days of meetings at PSA, and we're working on some really exciting stuff. So we're very excited. Fingers crossed, everything goes well, and we'll have some news in no time.
Good stuff. I love it. All right, so let's see here. Logan, absolutely. What's going on? It's going good. Good stuff, Logan.
No updates, Logan.
Yeah. There you go. Good evening, Baz. All right, here we go. I can't believe PSA respects kids stuff like Pokemon over sports cards. It's like 50% of the submissions. Did you guys actually? I'll share it with you. I was sharing it with the guys, but let me share with you, our good friends. And if you ever are curious about any of this stuff, I'm serious. I recommend check out GemRate. Like every month they publish the stuff, and for the most part, like the third party graders have said that it's fairly accurate. So I would at least take it with at least take everything with a grain of salt. But I feel like they've been very good about where they're pulling the data from. So look right here. So February 2023. So Hockey's complaining about this part, but here's the deal. Without that, 1 million cards. That's 1 million cards in the month of February. February is 28 days. That's flat with January. So basically, it didn't move, didn't really go up, didn't really go down, stayed about flat. We're counting that as flat. And the rest of them actually had some bump ups as far as that's concerned, but nothing crazy. But a lot of cards were graded in the month of February. But here's the interesting part. So here's sports cards specifically. Sports cards and miscellaneous. Miscellaneous includes some other stuff, by the way. But so sports cards is down 12%. Pokemon and third party TCG and non-sport, which is the special they're extending, is up 18% and is almost 500,000 cards. So when you're getting about 50% of it, you extend that thing and you leave the other one. Of course, as a sports card person, I would like to see specials related to sports cards. But at the same, I can't blame them. The business says the $15 thing is working great. So if you're getting amazing numbers like this, you make sure that the kids can send in the pokies. You make sure. 100%. So I can't blame them for that. In an ideal world, we would love to see it. But like, look, you got 1 million cards without it. So unless those numbers take a rather significant dip, the message the marketplace is sending is like, yeah, we'll keep sending you cards anyway. Until the message becomes different, then I don't see what the incentive is for them. The proof is in the pudding right there. Eric is claiming he's saying this. This is like opposite day. When he's saying that, he means the opposite. Smash the like button. Good evening, Paul. Bedford Mall Grading Center. Oh, he's got a location in mind and everything.
Yes, we do.
Smash the like button. Thank you, Paul. Brad, is the PSA Canada channel going to break news after the big meeting? We should do it live on location. I should get you a little microphone or something. That'd be amazing.
Exactly. We will for sure.
There you go. Hopefully good news. Hopefully good news. Daddy news coming next week. We can only hope. Give modern sports cards a good deal and they'll be bumped up too. But they don't need it. Like, I'm actually being completely serious. If you look at those numbers, they literally don't need it.
Yeah.
What's the point? What do you want? It's like you want it to, for that. Right now, PSA seems very comfortable right around 1 million cards a month. I don't think they want to go to 1.2, 1.3, or 1.5 million cards a month necessarily. So unless the number dips, then you put in a special to kind of give it a little bit of a boost. But you got 1 million last month and 1 million this month without a special. Mm-hmm. And the Pokemon went up. And all you had to do is keep it at the 15. So what you did is you said, keep it at the 15, take in 500,000 Pokemon cards, and then whatever you get in sports cards, that'll add into it as well. If it suddenly drops 40%, well then fine, adjust it. But right now, even if you just take the, just for example, that Pokemon one. And like I said, I'm trying to put this in context for everybody. When you're looking at this, just remember one thing. This is the Pokemon, this is the TCG thing specifically. When you're looking at the TCG thing here, 466,000 cards. This is the number for all of it. They're doing almost 5 times as many TCG cards as the next biggest grader is doing cards. Period. Just on the Pokemon business, they're doing 5x. That's a pretty big gap. Mm-hmm. Again, you just have to think business. Put your business hat on a little bit. Think about it. Why on earth would you do it if you don't have to? Why decrease your profits? Why take in more cards, which takes me more effort, when I can charge you more and you're sending it in anyway? As a collector, I would prefer it the other way. I want super cheap discounts. I want super deep discounts, you know? But it's like, but as a business, like, no, I want more money. My goal as a business is to make more money. I can't blame them for that. Did we say dip? Perhaps we did. Perhaps we did. So, as usual, if there's any kind of questions or anything, the usual thing, again, we'll entertain it. But like I said, Hockey's comments are fair. I totally get his perspective. But at the same time, I'm just being realistic about this. I'm just being honest with a lot of you as much as possible. It's like, I understand why they would do it. I would prefer, personally, selfishly, that it was not the case. I would prefer to get amazing discounts. Mm-hmm. I would love that. Yeah. Do you see a time where submissions level go down? Yeah, absolutely. There will be. Like, 1 million a month. Like, we're supposedly in a down economy. The sports card market has taken a dip in several categories, and yet 1 million cards last month and 1 million cards this month, and I think in December was like close to 1 million cards as well. That's 3 million cards in the last 3 months in the down economy. Good Lord, imagine if we were in the boom. They might have to double prices. Forget about discounts. Double the price.
I know we were talking earlier before we got onto the show, and it's hard to believe, like when you really think about these numbers, like 1 million cards every month, and then add in the other grading companies. So what's it? Almost 1.5 million?
So, well, not quite that much. So I would say
1.3 million.
almost 1.3, almost
Yeah.
1.3.
So yeah, down economy, everything going on in the world,
Okay.
and 1.3 is still going through. So I mean, I think that's a strong sign of that the hobby's resilient. So
And by the way, if you look, we talk about the other ones. In all fairness with them, we've been very clear about this. CSG has done some different moves. We talked about the COMC thing, so that's a thing that allows them to get some submission. I assume some of those submissions are going to come from that, so I'm sure they're counting some of that. They do have a very fair bulk rate. SGC has done a great job turning around, but if you look at their cheapest rate, it's very competitive right around the same time as the cheapest bulk rate for PSA. They're only within a couple of dollars of each other, so it's not a big difference in the two. And SGC got a boost, and even Beckett got a boost. And Beckett was trying to be competitive at the low end of the bulk rate. So they're all kind of hovering around. We keep waiting. We keep thinking in the back of our head, oh, it'd be great to get bulk around $10. And all the rest of them are like, yeah, how about 16, 17, $18 or $20? How about that instead? And that's the cheapest, right? CSG, I think, is right now the clubhouse leader. I think they're at about 12. I think you can get $12 grading with CSG, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah,
and yet, so they've done well right now. Technically, in terms of sheer number of cards, they're number 2, but that includes the CGC as well. So you have to take into account that includes the CGC, which, by the way, we're back to TCGs again. TCGs non-sport is a very strong category for them as well. Mm-hmm. So I got Peter Collect here. Good evening. I got 2 orders in with PSA Canada this week. On your visit, let them know I want to cash in several makeup calls with these orders, like a bump of +1. All past transgressions will be forgiven. I like it. You've stated terms in advance. I like what you did there.
It's funny. I opened up Peter's 2 boxes tonight, and it's always exciting when you open up his boxes. 3 cards. Won't mention what they are, but awesome cards. And I'm going to personally take those. So yeah, they're going to come. Every card that I have regular above that I get until, well, today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, I'll take with me on Monday and drop off in person. So
nice. Yeah. Now, Peter, did you include a handwritten note making clear that all past transgressions would be forgiven? I think a handwritten note would go a long way in this situation. I'm just throwing it out there. Just want to make sure we're clear on that. Dave here says Jeter is at $10 if you vault the cards. There was do you remember that Arena Club? I think it was.
Arena Club,
yeah. Dave was all about the Arena Club. He enjoyed the fact that Jeter was involved. He appreciated that one. Nice. We're opening boxes of Opeachy on the show tonight. Can't be worse than the cup. Value wise, I feel like you would do better. How much did you open?
I opened 2 boxes of that and one of Sonic Chrome Sonic. Is that what's it called? Topps Chrome Sonic baseball. So
Sonic.
Yeah.
Was it like Galactic or Intergalactic? I feel like there was a themed one.
It doesn't even say Sonic on it. It's called Topps Chrome.
Yeah.
But it's Sonic. And I don't know why.
Oh yeah. Well, they did a lot of weird themed Chrome sets this year. So I've honestly lost track of them, but they did a bunch of different ones this year.
Yeah. So it's Topps Chrome Sonic anyways. I got a couple Wander Francos with ding corners.
All right. Rod here says, how was the Topps Chrome Sonic? How was it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I got, but nothing really for grading. I got a refractor, 2
Wanders. Yep.
One's a refractor. I think I can catch the light there.
Now, out of curiosity, is the biggest flaw centering or surface? What's the biggest issue you encounter?
They got touches on the corners, and one's centering, and they got touches on the corners.
That's really unfortunate for a Chrome product, especially. It's a shame.
Big time. But the box of Peachy, they were fun. I enjoyed opening them.
So is that Topps Chrome this year's?
Yes. 2022. It's 2022 Topps Chrome, but I'm still confused by this. So I enjoyed opening those tonight. I just took an hour before the show just to chill out and relax and open some fun boxes that aren't relatively expensive. The Topps Chrome Sonic is $120 Canadian all in. which is
That's not bad.
great,
That's actually not bad. Yeah.
right? And O-Pee-Chee's $90 a box all in as well, so
Yeah.
that's fun. But what I noticed is, even on the O-Pee-Chee, like there's a base card of Colin White in an Ottawa Senator uniform. He got traded to Florida back before the season. So like, I'm like, if this is a 2022-23 product, why do they still have a Colin White base card? I noticed in the Chrome, in the 2022 Topps Chrome, Zach Pop got traded to the Blue Jays, and he's in his Miami uniform on a base card. So again, I'm trying to figure out the years on these, but these guys, they're behind schedule still, right? Like the O-Pee-Chee should be up to date as far as I'm concerned. Like, I know some people don't pay attention to base cards, but that's what I like about O-Pee-Chee. You go through and they're still way behind schedule on a lot of these guys.
Right. No, that's
right.
fair.
Like there's a Matt Murray. Right. Like we all know Matt Murray's not in Ottawa anymore, and this is a new product, right? So anyway, that's my little venting towards I enjoy base cards when it comes to O-Pee-Chee. So read the back, look at them. It's exciting.
I did actually watch some breaks of O-Pee-Chee, and it looks nice. It's one of those things that look like a decent product, and I think the price point is fair. Not something that I directly look after, but definitely some singles that I think look good. I think they look nice. Doug here is saying the number at the bottom of the back are different between the Chrome and the Sonic. Other than that, they're almost the same. Thank you, Doug.
Gotcha.
Appreciate that. By the way, this talk all reminds me. We didn't get a chance to talk about it since it hadn't happened the last time we spoke. So have you guys been keeping up on any of the stuff with the industry conference thing? The little Tops thing that's been coming out? Discontinuing certain products, and then also look, my personal favorite, Brad. This one's a Brad Hartland special. This one we're doing just for Brad. Otherwise, I would not discuss this other than the Friday show, in which case I will mock it without mercy. But I'll be nice in this one. So y'all know that in Bowman Draft Picks, you're getting autographs, cards of Montreal Expo great Thomas, Edward, Patrick, Beavis, Butthead, Larry, David, Brady. Of course, as you do. Yannick, I expect you as a resident Expos collector. You got to be all over this, bro. Because Tom Brady was, in fact, drafted by the Expos back in the day, back sometime in the 1840s when he started his career.
You know what? I don't like, even as the Brady fan that I am, I kind of don't like it. I don't know. It's very gimmicky.
It feels like it's too late. Like, I feel like if you had done this years ago, like, I'm being serious. I feel like if you had done this years ago, it might almost be cute. It would almost be a little endearing, but it's like literally you waited until the end of his career. He has allegedly retired for the second time. And assuming that's the case, so like now you want to just milk that? Like that's been a fact of his career for a very long time.
Yeah.
But like, look, whatever, man. I just thought it was so random that I was like, really? Tom Brady Expos baseball card is what we're doing now? Yeah, and Bowman Draft Picks. So Bowman Draft Pick. I just thought that was so random. It was a little bit interesting. I'll spend some time mocking it tomorrow. Just letting y'all know in advance. Little foreshadowing for that. I think the Murray says Leafs on it. Thank you, Sean.
It does. Yeah, good point. It does. It says on the bottom underneath his name, it does say Maple Leafs. I didn't even know.
So the picture should be updated is the problem here.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It'll be deflating when they only insert 10 signed cards of the product. Probably. Could very well be. Lex Expo drafted. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was the last active Expo probably from the OG team, I guess, maybe. But But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like I said, look, at the end of the day, it is part of his history, so it does count, but it's just weird. Just weird.
Yeah. Do you know what I think of all the things? I just listened to SCI tonight, and they talked about what they think this breaking news is in the next month, and they all gave their opinions. And I like the one that I think it might have been Jeff that said it, that they're going to announce that there will be no more redemptions.
They would be idiots to do that because there's no way they can promise that. They might be able to promise a reduction. They might be able to say, hey, we've got like a plan over the next several years to bring that way down so that we don't have that issue going forward. That would probably be something you could promise that you probably could deliver on. You're like, all right, so this year we're going to cut it down by like 30%, less redemptions, more. We're just going to put it in the product or we're not going to offer it. And you could start slowly, weaning yourself off the redemption. But I don't think you can go to cold turkey. That's one of those situations like it tell me you're haven't been in the card business long without telling me you haven't been in the card business long. Peter here says, I see some PSA monthly special now shown as discounts, not stated rate. Super Express last month, Express this month. Is an interesting approach. I guess so. It does not appear as yo-yo pricing. I feel like so, and I'll say it this way. I feel like the current iteration of PSA under the current management and leadership He's very good at figuring out how to brand things, figuring out how to phrase things in a certain way. There is thought to it clearly to me, but at the same time, obviously, there are things I would prefer to see. But it goes back to the conversation we had earlier. Everything is with a business thought in mind. There is like, we're going to react to the market, but only to a certain degree. And we're going to wait for the cues from the market. And when the message you're getting is a million cards, just keeps, then you're thinking in the back of your mind, okay, stay the course and offer other things. Offer other bonuses and perks elsewhere. We'll touch price if we have to touch price. Otherwise, leave it be. And that's what I feel like the message the marketplace has been telling them. Oh, yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We'll give you a million cards anyway. And they're like, okay, sounds good. So here says, where's the show tomorrow? Another live. It is a live stream on my channel, and the name right there. If you follow that one, and Brad is oftentimes on that show. So, and we have a little bit of fun. This one we exercise some more decor. We exercise a little bit more decor. We exercise a little bit less, and I have a little bit more fun with our good buddy Tom Brady on that show. Different conversation. But on this one, we'll be nice. I just wanted to bring it up. Just some thoughts. Brad taking a lesson from SCI. This will that won't end at what?
Oh, I think he says it in the next one.
Okay. What would Luke think hearing that, man? I feel like I had a stroke reading that.
I know. And then he corrected on the next one.
There we go. Okay. So now I got it. Okay, got it. Yeah. What does Luke to think? Luke, what do you think?
But what?
Brad taking lessons from sports card investor. Do you feel that Kyler Murray is a 4 times worse investment than Will Grier? That's the important question, Brad. That's what I want to know.
I know. We all know. I like watching Sports Card Investor. I like what he does. I find it very interesting. I don't think everyone can take their own advice. I make my own decisions when it comes, and everybody should take their own advice. So, anyways, I am a fan of Sports Card Investor. I talk about it on Carlos's channel all the time. And
look, I think as far as content, it's fine. Like, I think if you take it with a grain of salt, I think it's perfect. I don't think there's any harm in kind of listening. You can sit there and kind of shake your head sometimes and be like, no, you're wrong. you need to study up on that a little bit more. But at the same time, look, give an opinion. I'm fine with it. I found a quote here. We are laser focused on the collector experience, and redemptions is a poor collector experience. We're doing everything we can to reduce and hopefully eventually eliminate redemptions. So that's a quote from Mike Mahan, CEO of Fanatics Collectibles. So which is exactly in line with kind of what I was suggesting. Stating that you're going to try to reduce and hopefully eventually eliminate, that's verbiage that makes sense. Not like, oh yeah, we're going to eliminate it. Really? Maybe if you work on it over time and scale it back over time, that might give you a shot. I did want to bring up the products though. So they said they were basically going to discontinue or consolidate some product lines. So there's a couple ones. Clearly Authentic, Bowman Chrome X, Gold Label, Opening Day, First Edition, Topps Fire, and Topps Gallery. Gallery and I think Fire kind of became retail only, if memory serves me. They're nice products. I thought the Fire was interesting the way it looked and everything, but it became kind of a retail product. Opening Day, take it or leave it, whatever. Bowman Chrome X, don't care. Clearly Authentic, I think, is where they have the autographs with the acetate cards, if memory serves me. It's an interesting product. I like it for veterans. You can get some cheap, great autographs, some veteran players. I like it for that. For the most part, though, nothing that I would miss too much. A Gold Label is a shame because I liked Gold Label when it first came out. But I think at this point, it had kind of run its course. It might be a good idea to shelve it for a little while and then reconceive it down the road. But I think for the most part, I'm good with them streamlining the offerings a little bit.
I agree with you 100%. I think there's way too many products. I like that they're actually eliminating some.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Here we go. Brad, how come you or Luke aren't being at the summit the YouTubers are peddling? I'm curious, have any of you actually seen any of the YouTubers actually at the summit? I feel like because I'm reading off of Twitter. I'm not actually I haven't seen any videos from anybody actually covering the summit. I feel like I've seen articles and I've seen, social media posts where people post some stuff, but I don't feel like I've said, hey, live at the summit. It's not that exciting. Nobody wants to sit there like, hey, I just flew all the way over here to hang out and listen to the summit. I don't feel like that's a thing. I don't know.
It's hard, and there's only so much time. There's only so much time to do so many different things. Like Luke, you got the show this weekend in Regina, which he'll be attending, and I'm in California this week coming up, and then the whole show schedule starts to get We've got about a
Every
week
2
left,
weeks.
and then we're just completely in the juice. So
Yeah. Well, it goes back to kind of a reoccurring theme. Sometimes hockey is like, no, the business is to run the business. It's not. It's not to go hang out at the summit,
yeah,
unless it's a networking event. That's a different thing.
yeah,
So, Brendan Ryan, good evening. Brad, as a seasoned person that has made his living in the industry, what is in that content for you? Entertainment. Brad, for
absolutely.
you.
100. You nailed it. It's entertainment. And again, he does a high production. Every video he does. I mean, the quality is there. Again, he says things that I don't agree with, and I mean that's the nature of any business that you're in. You're not going to agree with everything, but he puts it out there. The guy works his butt off. He promotes the industry with positivity. He's got 150, 200,000 followers. Or subscribers. I'm not even sure what that number is, but I enjoy it. It's entertainment for me, and I like some cheesy videos. It's just like my TV show selection. I couldn't wait for Outer Banks season 3 to start.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's how it goes.
So Dave here says, generally I agree, he's harmless. When he sent the lawsuit over to SCR, I read about his I think it's 354 it's 3 numbers. So I think Dave's in the right ballpark. I forget what the name is. 352, something like that. But you're in the right ballpark there, Dave. Or whatever company, it's not a startup, and he claims he made millions from it. I'm not in his books, but I think he's had some businesses. He's got enough businesses, so apparently if they're still around, that's the case. Dan Redemption still have some from Panini since 2011 Dominion Hockey. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it. Some of the redemption, look, the last redemption I got back was with Panini, and when I received it, I forgot I had sent it. It took so long, I literally forgot. And I forgot I had done anything with it. And literally, I had a package. I got basically a notification saying, oh, you received your package. And it was like during the holidays. I want to say it was like in 2021 or 2022. Well, 2021, I think. And I think the product I opened was 2018. It took 3 years. I got a random notification out of the blue during the holidays. I think it was like Boxing Day or right around that time period. I got the notification. I was at my parents' house. And I was literally like, hey, do you mind just giving me, I'm a couple blocks away, but I was like, hey, do you mind just giving me a lift over? I just want to check. Because not only did they deliver it randomly on Boxing Day, they delivered it to my neighbors and they left it in front of their door. So I came, I found it. I go and I'm like, what the hell is this? And I opened it up and it was from a 2018 football product. And it was wide receiver for the Houston Texans, Kiki QT. I was like, 3 years for this? It's hard signed. Good news. I was like, you made me wait 3 years for this trash, and this is what you give me?
I got one.
Yeah, you got one. Sorry, go ahead, Luke.
I got one of those too. So,
But I was so mad. I was like, you wasted. I literally couldn't remember what the redemption was for. But I was like, I waited. Fortunately, I didn't care, clearly. But I'm like, you made me wait 3 years and then annoyed me on Boxing Day during the holidays so I could go, oh my God, what's going on? Do I have a packet? Kiki QT. They know him in his house. Like, why do I care at this point? Like, honest to God.
Please tell me you still have the card.
I do, actually. I had 2. Look, my luck was so good with 2018 product. I had 2 Kiki QT redemptions. 2!
That's awesome.
One for XR and one for Prism, because I opened a box of 2018 Prism. By the way, I did get my money back on the Prism box. Although if I had sold the sealed box, it would have been way better for me. Apparently, way better. But whatever, it happens. So real quick here, Brad, are the bulk of the wrestling card PSA Canada submissions female performers? They are very popular. The ladies are very popular in that products.
They are. We have a gentleman from New Brunswick that submits a lot of wrestling cards. He always submits whenever his order comes in. It kind of blows me away because there's always a few cards that I've never seen before. Just when I think I've seen, and it's that 80s, it's the WWF,
Yep.
mid to late 80s to early 90s. And I look and I'm like, where did this come from? Oh, there it is.
There's a Prism one, and this one is the XR. Wow. Look at it. 3 years for this garbage. This is numbered out of 25. Be in awe. 3 years. And this one still has the Panini customer service sticker on top. There you go. At this point, I keep it as a testament to anger. I keep it out of spite. Because what else am I going to do with it? It's Kiki QT of the Houston Texans. There's no hope. Which makes the second PPP low in 2021 total BS in reference to the businesses that were making money. Totally fair, Dave. Totally fair. Like for me, like at the end of the day, I don't count the guy's money. And if the government wants to claw back and investigate something, do it by all means, because you have that right, certainly. But that's on them to do, not for me to worry about. Good evening, gents. Question for each of you: what is your favorite card in a PSA holder that you personally submitted for? This is a fun question. I like this question. That's a thinker. Thank you, CC. All right, so I got to think about it for a second. But Luke, do you have an answer for this one? Your favorite card in a PSA holder that you personally submitted. That's an important caveat. You personally submitted.
I'm trying to think, but I have a couple. I don't have it here with me, but I'll have to get it. I'll get it for next week.
Okay. Okay. But do you remember what it is though, or you still have to think about it?
No, yeah, there's a couple that I like.
Okay. All right.
I got mine. Came right. The first card that came to my mind.
All right. So go ahead, Brad. Oh. So which version? Which version of the Billy Ripken?
This is the Air.
It's the FF face.
Yeah.
There you go. Solid.
And I remember when I got that, and I was like, I was so happy because like that card. I mean, anyone that was collecting cards in '89, like that was such a big thing. It was huge. And so I got that card, and I graded that myself, and PSA 10. So
nice. I like that you went that direction. I like it.
Yeah.
My favorite card that I submitted personally for grading. I feel like my favorite card that I submitted personally for grading, honestly, was probably because I've graded cards for different reasons. I've graded some cards to flip, some cards for PC, different reasons that I've done it. I think my favorite one came in that last group that we did, because I submitted 3 personal PC Medano Grails for me. So I would say the Mirror Platinum, Medano, because that's a Grail piece. That's like a top tier Grail piece for that collection, especially in the late '90s period. That's right in my wheelhouse, my favorite. So 97, 98, totally certified, Pinnacle totally certified, Mirror Gold Platinum. That's the piece, and that's the one I would consider to be my personal favorite that I submitted in for grading myself.
I remember mine's actually a Shaq rookie back in Upper Deck. It was actually one of the first ones I ever submitted.
Okay.
And I sent it to Len or whatever, but it was a Shaq rookie. You know how they had the 1A, 1B?
Yes.
And the 1B was like the draft card or whatever?
Yeah.
So I got that back in whatever, PSA 10. I'm like, that was awesome. I've never seen so many. I think at the time there's pop like 32 or something. Mm-hmm. And there's still winning because I've had a lot of people. I've actually bought a lot more to try to submit, and then they come back like 7s and 8s.
Nice. That's fair. Paul says Regina is almost like California. Couldn't agree more. Basically the same. I wonder if Fanatics does 10x the market like they want. How much of that impacts hockey? They'll likely have a U.S. focused marketing. They will not 10x. Unless they change the definition of what they consider to be 10x. You can play some games. I'll give you an example. WB used to like to play games with social medias. It's like, WB is the most seen, property and whatever. And they would just like count like Instagram followers, and they would like take all their superstars and their accounts and just add it all together. It's like 1 billion people follow the WB. It's like, that's not true. That is not even remotely. But you're basically making that up, because there is cross-pollination between these people following these different characters and your company. So it's not 1 billion different people. Don't pretend. But Fanatics can always make up a number, because when you make the statement, Fanatics, like I said, has made these grandiose statements. I'm like, okay, what's your baseline? 10x compared to what? 10x number of people in the door. The biggest national of all time was about 100,000. Are you saying you're going to get 1 million people through the national? Probably not. That ain't happening. 10x the amount of money spent? Maybe with inflation, if we wait long enough. But again, what are we comparing it to? Are we comparing it to 2018 numbers, 2016 numbers, 1984 numbers? You got to give us a baseline. Otherwise, you could just claim victory at any time and just say, "Yeah, we 10x'd it." Did you? Are you sure? But that's why I think it'll be interesting to see what they actually consider to be 10x compared to what, is my question that I would ask. I guess the Fanatics announcement is something with streaming, breaks for a TV show or marketplace. They are getting into breaks, though. They did already state that they are entering into the breaks area. But that is a possibility. They could be an expansion of that or giving a little more elaboration. They did say they were going to have an announcement that was going to be like one of the biggest announcements in whatever, like the history of the hobby or in a certain time period. I forget what it was. I just assumed it was going to be that Brad Hartland was going to be personally in charge of all Tom Brady products going forward. I just assumed that's what it was going to be.
I will take that job. I'll be his pool boy as well if you want me to be.
That might have to be what happens. That might have to be what happens. I don't even know. In a 46, go ahead.
There was a good interview on Luca Nation
Okay.
with Andrew and Cage. They had I'm going to say one of the top guys the head of marketing for Fanatics trading cards. It might not have been the head, one of the top guys, but it was very good. And he talked about a lot of the things that he wants to implement along the ways. And he came from the sneaker world, seems like a super smart guy. But it was a good interview. If anyone wants to watch, like, it was nice to see. And Cage, he was not easy on him, and he put him on the spot a few times, which he normally does. But it was good. So there's a lot of good information on Fanatics there. He talked pretty candidly about different things they want to do and what he thinks they can do. So,
Right. I'll have to check it out, but I will say though, like Cage being tough is like, that's cream puff. I'm sorry, that's still cream puff. Like you asking hard questions, it'll take him 45 minutes to ask the question, but eventually, hopefully, there's a question in there. But that's fair. In 46 years collecting, I bought one graded card and I've never graded a card. Fair enough. It's possible to collect without getting involved in grading cards, but it's getting more difficult, to be honest. Psh, perish the thought. That is correct. Yep, classic, absolutely. Are leaf cards still banned by PSA?
do you know I just got back a Giannis one, and I resent it in for a friend. I sent it in, it came back, and then I resent it in, and it just comes back. It says "Do not hold her." So that's all I can say. I'm not sure.
Was it a specific leaf product?
It was a Giannis autograph card,
Okay.
and it was I can't remember, to tell you the truth.
So I have to see. I don't know. I don't know if there's any kind of a deal in that. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a fair question. I know they have certain policies for some of these products, but it's one of those things, like there's certain leaf products where I could see, like, why wouldn't you? I guess it depends on the product though. It'd be like a case by case, but I guess you'd have to check ahead of time. Favorite card submitted for PSA grading? Well, amazing enough, I've never submitted a card for grading. Psh, then you can't answer the question, Dave. And then he follows up by answering the question, but you didn't answer the question. My favorite owned card and PSA holder is a Sport News Wagner, PSA 4 with great photo registration. Very good. Bought long before the vote. Fair enough. So let's see here. Crozier's Memorabilia, good evening. What's up? Any thoughts on the Patty Kane trade? It was a long time coming. They were promoting it and promoting it and promoting it. As an inadvertent collector of Patrick Kane autographs that happen to have Medano on them, I've got several cup cards with both of them on it. I'm good with it. I think it'll be interesting to see if he's still a good player. Like I said, I genuinely believe he will become the leading goal scorer and point getter for American players. He'll take that mantle from Medano. He'll be the guy, which is why I thought it was funny. Like in 09-10, they had a bunch of dual autographs with the two guys. And I'm like, Medano and Mullen became a thing later. But like that was way later after Medano was most of the way through. By accident, I guess. They paired the two because they were American. It's like, Patrick Kane will eventually take that title. So that was back in 09-10. That's pretty good. I say, hey, good job, guys. You called that one inadvertently, way in advance, which makes for a fun card. I think it's good, and hopefully he does well. I have no reason not to enjoy what he's doing, and I still think he's a great player.
Yeah. You know what's great? When you think of American players, I was talking to my uncle the other day about it.
Yeah.
And the guy that surprises you so you have, can you name the top 5 American scoring leaders of all time?
The top 5? Well, I know Medano's one. And are you talking about goals or just points?
Points.
As well?
Points, yeah.
Points. So Medano's one. I think Joe Mullen's 2, isn't he?
No.
No, so Mullen's 2 in goals, but not in points, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So my head, when my uncle asked me the question, my head went to Roenick. And then, but
Roenick is up there in goals for sure. I don't know about points.
He's 3 in points. Number 2 in points is a guy that I didn't know. It stumped me.
Was it Phil Housley?
It's Phil Housley. It took me 5 or 6
I had to think about it, but if it wasn't the obvious one, it would have been Phil Housley.
Yeah. Phil Housley, number 2. It's pretty remarkable to say.
Yeah, but I think Kane will end up getting both of those. I think he'll end up getting both those. He's still got enough gas in the tank, I think, to eventually surpass both.
Yeah.
But I'm good with it. Luke, any thoughts on the trade?
No, you know what? Well, that seems to be they're going to be powerhouse on the east side for sure. But I'm just thinking, with all these trades and stuff like that before the trade deadline tomorrow, who else is left?
His first name.
It's going to be pretty boring tomorrow.
Well, the trade deadline has lost a lot of its luster. And TSN used to have their trade center that used to be like their big exciting thing, because I remember sitting back and watching it back years and years ago now. But I think it's lost a lot of that luster years ago, and they're just kind of standing around going, so what do you guys think could be a deal? And then you got the guy sitting there with the phones trying to look busy, and it's like, it's lost a lot of luster. It used to be one of the big days you'd sit around and kind of watch it. It's like, I would just check the app now. That'd be me. Grading is good for authentication and alterations. It's great to ease selling. Yes. I saw a scenario on Facebook where 2 experienced collectors got in hostilities over condition of raw cards and deal. That's basically what it is. I talk about it to the point, and I mentioned it. I'll reiterate what the guys already said. You don't need to grade cards. It is not necessary, but there are uses for it in some cases. It can, to this point from Peter, facilitate. If you're planning on selling a card, it is way easier to sell a card that is already in the holder. And I'll give you an example. I have it on the desk because I'm putting these up for eBay. So there is a T206 card of Toronto player. So this one here, this is Dick Rudolph, and you got it there, and it is a 3, marked because of the pencil, but a good, clean-looking card. Here's the thing. I bought these years ago. I know they're good. The authentication is not the issue piece. I just don't want to have a debate and argument about condition. So it allows me to take the picture, put it in as is, and go, okay, that's the condition. I'm satisfied with it. You see, look at the pictures, decide if the eye appeal is good for you. If you're interested in the card, you can bid on it. If you don't care, if you don't want to, then don't worry about it. But if I put in the same card in a top loader, oh, can I see can you zoom in on the corners? Can you zoom in on because now all of a sudden it's a debate and a discussion about condition, which I don't want to have. It's a waste of my time.
Yeah. They're still not going to offer. I was going to say, they're still not going to offer like top dollar for it either. They're going to go a bit cheap on it.
Of course. But that one I've got set up in open auction. Let it go where it's going to go. Like, it'll do what it's going to do. But it's already taken care of. I don't have to have a discussion about the condition. Maybe everything else, but I take a nice picture of it, put it up, y'all figure it out. The market will dictate on that. T206s, a lot of times the vintage cars like a T206, there are set collectors, there are team collectors, and there are people who collect the different packs. So there's a different cross-section of folks, and I put up 2 T206s, and one of them already has a bid, and literally I've had it up for like an hour. I immediately had watchers and bids. Didn't have to do anything else, just you guys figure it out. And just let me know what the total is and who I'm sending it to. I don't see how Fanatics gets their money back. Seems like it will do as bad as Rogers overspending on NHL rights. Don't forget, the Players Association that have partial equity and ownership.
Yeah.
So could they not get their money back? Yeah, could be. But here's the thing. They've already raised billions of dollars in funding. So do they even need their money back?
No, that's the whole thing. What do they need back? Because Fanatics is going to go public, and they're all going to cash. I don't want to say cash out, but cash in.
Well, don't forget, the hockey point here also states the question. So how much did they pay for the rights? You don't know. I don't know either. Because remember, the Players Association and all that, they agreed to give them the exclusive. But part of the deal is that the Players Association and the league get partial ownership in this entity. So how much cash actually changed hands? Some for sure, but how much? What if it was just 100 million? Well, then of course they can get their money back. If it was billions and billions and billions, maybe not. It depends on what the arrangement of the deal was, because you're also getting ownership. So if ownership is taking up the majority of it and cash is taking up a small piece of it, Fanatics probably already made his money back. It depends on what the conditions of the deal are, and I don't know what they are. Neither do you.
Yeah.
Luke, how come you don't appear on many YouTube channels? Luke, I like to think that you're hidden in the background like Where's Waldo style. I feel like you're in a lot of places. I feel like I saw you in an SCI video. I think in the Lucas Tigers and Braun one that Brad was talking about, I think you were in the corner. I saw you over there.
Listening is powerful.
Interesting. I assume 10X's primary sales of wax by manufacturer. Well, don't assume though, because they just said 10X. They didn't say 10X or what. Assume 10X dollars in terms of their business justification forecast. They certainly would hope that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. We'll have to see. You can't ask tough questions to the guests. They would never go on shows again. It sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's fair. I can't pronounce these names.
Skordensky.
All right, fair enough. I'll leave it here. Nova's making his appeal, so I'll leave it. Do you? Sucks for that Carter kid now. Probably has 5 Kane Chicago jerseys autographed. There you go.
Patrick Kane looked sad at the Rangers, though, when he was on the podium and he had the Rangers hat on right down, and he looked sad and out of place. It didn't seem right. That's for sure.
He literally wanted a trade.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you're sad and they traded you and that's what you wanted, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. He did not look right today.
I guess. I don't know. Did I didn't pay too close. I know that the rumor was going on for quite a while, and Rangers were one of the leading candidates for quite a while. Was there any indication that he had a preference? Uh, because I know he wanted to get traded. That was
Yeah,
part of the thing. He did want to get traded. Was there any
yeah.
preference that he ever indicated?
I think he did want to go there, but I think he was kind of Chicago more or less wanted him to go as well.
Okay,
That's my thoughts. I don't know the whole ins and outs, but
that's fair. That's fair. I get it. Brad, at the meetings with PSA, what are the chances you advocate for sports card collectors waiting for the price of grading to drop?
I can defer this over to what Luke just said.
I like it.
Better to listen.
I think, Brad, you should advocate for increasing the price, specifically for Hard Rock Canada. I think you should double it. Are these live streams every Thursday night, or are they random? Thursday nights.
You
Check
got
out the Instagram as well. You'll also get a notification when they're coming up. You usually get a fair warning as well. So, and good evening. Back in the day, TSN would have done something similar to the Mean Gene hotline leading up to deadline day. Probably would have been profitable back then too. 1-900 numbers were all the rage back in those days. Agree on authentication, but disagree on alterations. Folks don't realize the amount of work that has been done on vintage cards, all graded by SGC and PSA. Well, Dave, you already talked about Honus Wagner. It's actually Hannes. It's his brother. You should look at it more closely. And you should see it's only printed on one side. Double check that. Just let you know.
We just got this one back today came back this week.
Nice. Solid. Yep.
Right.
Well,
But again, back to that though, when you think about it, like when I sent it, I'm looking at it and it's really,
is there like just out of curiosity, it's a little tough to tell on that one. Are his eyes okay? Is that a deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
His
Just
eyes
making
are
sure.
okay.
Yeah, just making sure. I just want to make sure they weren't whited out. But okay, fair enough. Gotcha.
But when you look, like again, back to that whole thing, like when the guy asked about should I send that in, I was like, absolutely, because you want to authenticate it first.
Yes.
And once it's in that holder, now there's no debate. It's a really, really rough Mickey Mantle, but it's a 52 tops Mantle. So.
There's somebody out there who's probably going to want it. Just the same.
Absolutely.
At least they just want to have a copy at this point.
Yeah.
Wait until the Gordy shows up. So I sold a Gordie Howe autograph to Sanderson Door. So he's going to complain about it, and I will send him to my complaint department. And when I lack in compassion, I make for a lack of compassion. Moving on. There are people that want a video of cheap bass cards. It's ridiculous. I assume he means base cards.
Yeah.
But I prefer to think it's Bass cards. Steve Bass, he was great. As far as fish last name guys, he goes way ahead of other fish guys that I could think of. Steve Bass, GOAT. There you go. If it was $100, then MLB and NBA need to screw it. It should have chosen Tops. Nobody was going to choose Tops. Tops was a poorly run company. That's the reason they got snookered in that deal. They were very stupid, and that's why they got snookered. Carlos exclusive limited edition 1 of 1. True. Eric says, hi, Luke. Nice. Peter, random thought. LeBron card prices not doing well after breaking the scoring record. Could be a Ovechkin crisis fall comfortably back below Crosby again after he breaks the goal scoring record. After, possibly. Below Crosby, probably not. And comfortably back below Crosby, probably not. Could they level out again? Sure. Yeah, they could definitely level out again. Our theory, the long-standing thought process, and again, you're guessing. Just to be clear, you're guessing a market because a market bakes in certain accomplishments, right? The LeBron thing after scoring records, because you're not peaking at the scoring record. People are assuming he's going to break the scoring record, so you have a run-up leading into. After it happens, it's done. Hopefully you made money at that point. Hopefully, because if you didn't, you're not going to get a higher price. Him breaking the record isn't suddenly going to increase the price after that. Ovechkin is still a couple of years away. So there's room for a little bit more run up between now and then if he keeps scoring at a decent pace and does his thing. But after it happens, or like the day it happens, you're not going to suddenly get another Apex. Like it's already been baked into the price by that point. Hopefully you already took care of business. You don't want to be sitting on it. You can buy it back after because you'll probably get a little dip back down. Will it go back below Crosby? Probably not. I think Crosby will get appreciation after he's retired. He's got accolades. He's got credentials. He's going to Hall of Fame. That is not in question. But Ovechkin has scored so many more goals in that generation. People love goals. And they both have a Stanley Cup. If Ovechkin had 0 Stanley Cups and Crosby had the 3 Stanley Cups, the gap would be a little wider between the two guys. But as it is, both guys are great players. Both guys are generational. The Cup did very well in his first year having both guys. They're never going to complain about that.
I agree. I think they'll level out. I think if we talk about it in 10 years' time, I feel like they will be leveled out.
I agree with that. 443 left.
Get going, Logan.
Yeah, I
Yep.
thought you said you'd done them today.
Mm. Yep, I realized and I did. I even asked Dick Towell if he had worked on it. If he had honest swear, I felt it was legit. Again, it's not printed on both sides. Check Dave. Both sides. Thursday, PSA Canada Live. Friday, Luke Live. Opening cup from past years. Luke, if you want to open past cup, I'll invite you on. I'll invite you on. No problem. Geeks back on Top's being stupid. They literally had a deal with, what was it, the SPAC? They were going to do that deal with the SPAC, but they basically waited long enough. And at the moment they were about to do it, Fanatics literally pulled the rug out from under them. Tops, for all the years that they had the exclusive on baseball, got snookered by Fanatics who came in out of left field. Tops had also had years and years and years and years and years to make tons of money. And they butchered every opportunity. They should have been in a position where they should have had been so strong for Major League Baseball that at least it would have been a discussion. They managed to get snookered without even being informed. That's how strong their relationship was with Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball was like, oh, Fanatics, hey, how's it going? All right, we're ditching these idiots. The SPAC fell apart immediately. All of a sudden, Topps lost a ton of value, and all of a sudden, they had to sell basically to Fanatics or become irrelevant. That's how Topps was being stupid. Mm-hmm. And they built it on the back of bad management. Many years of bad management and mediocre products for years with an exclusive. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. What do you guys think will make fun? That's why when initially the license thing was announced, I laughed because I said, well, if Topps goes away, screw them. And I'm a baseball card guy. Like, Topps are stupid. They were idiots. When Fanatics bought them, it's like, yeah, okay, great. Now they can just use it in now. It made sense for Fanatics, but they basically devalued Topps when they did that move. They let Topps walk away with its the owners, Eisner and the other guys, got to walk away with their tail between their legs. They should have made way more money than they made on that deal. That SPAC was going to be them making $1 billion. They did not make $1 billion. They should have, but they didn't. That's why they were stupid. What do you think will make more impact on their team? I'm again not even doing the last names. Not doing it.
I honestly, I think neither.
Neither.
I think during trade line, there's these. I mean, they're both good players, but they're not superstars.
All right, fair enough. Luke, you got an opinion on this one?
Well, I think Tyler's going to do better, but I mean, I don't really follow a lot of defenseman guys, right? So,
yep,
I'm not a fan of Tyler Bertuzzi at all.
I kind of gathered that. At least I knew a little bit of him, but yeah, fair enough. Are people submitting the recent top flagship release for grading in large volumes?
No.
They printed 1 billion base cards. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
We don't. And honestly, from baseball, from what I've looked at, seeing coming through the doors is more on the higher end baseball products that come through, but we just don't get a lot of that.
Well, I don't think, like, let's be completely honest though, at the same time. Topps did the deal with SGC where I think it's $9 grading. So they'll get some. The $9 price point helps. Very specific niche because it helps it with it. But at the same time, like, what's the baseline price like for, like, if I want to submit a 2023 Topps Juan Soto card, I think what's the baseline price on bulk right now at the current moment?
30 Canadian.
30 Canadian. Okay.
Yeah.
You think I'm paying $30 Canadian to submit a Juan Soto base card that there's 1 million copies of?
Yeah.
That's ludicrous. Why would I do that?
Yeah. And it's 25 US if you're not a collector's club member.
Yeah. So. That would be foolish. Like, that would make literally no sense whatsoever. You got to have Luke money. You got to be just rolling in it at that point. That's the only way. Like, otherwise it's not even worth discussing. Dave here says Ovi might get drafted soon. At the rate they're going, that's a separate conversation, Dave, but maybe they might need the help. Anybody else excited for Formula One season beginning tomorrow? You a drive to survive kind of guy, Nova? I'm not a Formula One guy. I'm not a race car guy. Can't help you.
Couldn't care less, personally.
Yeah, but
it's exciting.
But if you enjoy it, man, good for you. Hopefully you have a good time.
I've been to the F1 races 4 times now in Montreal, and I've been there for the weekend. I don't even think I've actually watched the race ever of the 4 of them.
I just can't, like, I at least appreciate that they are driving. Like NASCAR, you're literally turning in one direction. So at least the Formula One guys have to turn the car in both directions. But it's still a car. Look, I made my pitch, and I'll actually make it for this audience. My pitch to fix motorsports. Look, as far as I'm concerned, they're not athletes. I'm sorry. Now, they can be athletic and be in the cars, but the car is doing the work. If the 404 tires blow out and the engine blows out, the guy ain't doing anything. He ain't crossing the finish line. However, my pitch is this. I want these races to happen. I want them to drive the entire race. But on the last mile, you got to grab one of the tires and you carry it across the finish line. I want you to take the tire and run it across the finish line for the last mile. Show me some athleticism, then I will count it as a sport. As far as I'm concerned, it's not even a sport. It's a pastime. Crosby has that golden medal goal. Yes, he does. That's true. I know the goal scorers get all the glamour, but it still surprised me that OV cards sell for more than state cards. It doesn't surprise me. People like the goals. Sid is the better over body work. That I will agree with. But people like goals. Because the thing with Crosby, like being serious, the thing with Crosby is he's got the gold medal. He's got 3 Stanley Cups. He's got a lot of great accomplishments. But here's the thing. We will appreciate the totality of it when he retires. But as it is right now, he will never lead the NHL in goals lifetime. Not going to happen. He isn't going to get the points record. He isn't going to get the assist record. He doesn't own a single record of any kind. Ovechkin at least has the chance, potentially, if everything goes well for him, to potentially surpass a gigantic historic record. That is a feather in your cap. That is something legendary. And by the way, no one else is even close. So if he is able to surpass it, what's the chance of the next guy coming down the pipeline? Who even has a shot? You got to score almost 900 goals. Who's on pace for 900 goals? Anyone? Bueller? That's the point. The point is he has a chance to do something historic. Sidney Crosby's overall career is more impressive, but he doesn't have a single record to his name, and he won't have one. But it's still a very impressive. It's a Hall of Fame career, first ballot, no question, no doubt. Does that make sense? Am I being fair here, Brad? Like I feel like giving him his due, and still at the same time acknowledging there is a difference between someone who literally is going to make history if he's able to finish the job, versus somebody who had an amazing career that we will appreciate in time. But there are other guys who've won 3 Stanley Cups.
Yeah.
He's not the first one to do that. But he did a great job. He did amazing.
With all my biases and everything, I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So history matters. History does matter. We if any of us, of any of our age, we have never seen anyone score goals at that pace. Mm-hmm. And I'm in my early 40s. I didn't really watch I watched the latter portion of Gretzky's career. This is post the 1980s. So outside of the end of Gretzky's career, I've never seen anyone get to 800 goals or approach 800 goals. This is the only guy who I've been able to watch the totality of his career, and nobody else is even on the radar. That means something. That's where it stands out a little bit. It's a little special. It's a feather in his cap. We'll see what happens we'll see what happens all the time. I found the Topps baseball last few years left a lot to be desired. It's been more than the last few years, but it's been quite a while for that one. What's the point of Topps flagship? See, people only want Chrome because people still like to open the product. Topps flagship is to be the product that is available. The million cards is not an accident. See, the best part is a lot of people forget that Fanatics told you this in advance through what's his name, Josh Luber. Through Josh Luber, they said they wanted to have a product that is perpetually available. That's called flagship. Mm-hmm. They make lots of it because you can go to Walmart, you can go to Target over in the States. You can go get your little blaster. You go with your kid, you get a blaster, you open up some packs, have a little fun, sort some cards. It is available today. It'll be available tomorrow. It'll be available in 6 months. You want to open a hobby box? Knock yourself out. You want to open jumbos? Have at it. It's not going to sell out. So it's perpetually available, which has value in the catalog. You want to have a product like that. You've got the higher end products for the other stuff. So people want Chrome. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And people forget too, how many people out there that across North America that still build sets. Like even here in Halifax, I can name a dozen guys that buy factory sets or they build their sets and they have Topps the whole run. It's part of the whole sequence. And they're not going to come into the store and they're not going to spend money on, Topps Chrome Black or Topps Chrome Sonic or all this other stuff. It's not happening. But they're true collectors. They enjoy it and they build their set or they buy their set and they put it away. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of those people out there.
Yep. Do they have autos in Topps Chrome Topps flagship?
They have in past years. I think they do. They're long odds though. If they do have them, they're very long odds. Right. It's not easy to pull. But
are they stickers?
In a lot of cases, I feel like they are. I'll double check just to get it right. I will double check. But I believe so. cardboard connection. So I'll take a look while we're going here. So this one's a question for you guys. I have been watching a lot of the games, so I'm gonna absolve myself on this one. Do you guys have any prediction for the Cup Finals?
I can go from the West.
Sure.
Who's going to be in the Cup Finals from the West? It will be Edmonton or Colorado. I think it's pretty clear. And then I've got up to 6 teams coming from the East, so I know that's a lot of teams, but these guys have stacked them up. Whoever gets the hot goaltender, to me, who has the hot goaltender in the East is going to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay. So real quick, just to answer Luke's question. Yeah, there are actually a bunch of different autographs. Some insert sets have autograph parallels and variations. They are a little bit tough to pull, but they do have a couple different ones. They've also got like Major League Material autograph versions, and a lot of them are sticker. If not all of them, then most of them are sticker, it seems. But there are a bunch of different ones, and they're pretty long odds in some cases to pull them. So that's definitely a big one. So go ahead, Luke. Do you have a prediction here on Cup Finals?
Well, I'd like to see Edmonton for sure. Colorado, I don't know. I mean, they're inconsistent, I think, right now. But I don't know. Out of the East, I like Buffalo.
Look at this
I
guy.
really like Buffalo.
Where did that come from?
Trying to throw. Well, he's the guy who threw Jason Robertson at us out of nowhere. So I think Luke's like to be provocative. He likes to shock us a little bit.
You know what? Can we make can we have a wager here?
I'm going to stay out of this one. If you boys want to have one, I like to see that.
I put New Jersey Devils have more wins than Buffalo in the playoffs this year.
Ooh,
Well,
spicy.
Okay.
What are the stakes?
I was like, are we allowed to gamble on YouTube? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Literally, Brad, we've literally already done this.
Okay.
Literally, dinners have been won and lost.
Yeah, $100.
Okay.
All right, so you taking that one, Luke? You good?
Okay. Buffalo has to make it into playoffs first.
No.
Well,
Yeah,
if they don't make the
okay.
playoffs, that would be a 0 for them.
You had it one in the East, and you're worried about them even making the playoffs? Come on.
I was going to say that's a weak qualifier there, Luke. That's a real weak qualifier.
Okay, they have to both teams have to make the playoffs, or it's no bet.
Okay. Done.
All right, fair enough. There you go. So there you go.
It's going to be no bet, boys.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually going to be seen as the greatest hockey player of all time in the U.S. Yeah, probably, and in Russia too, probably. Topps flagship gets everyone in the game. Yeah, that's the point. Is it's supposed to be perpetually available. It should be perpetually available. That's really what it's for. Will Blasters or retail be the future of Fanatics? I think direct to consumer will be the future of Fanatics. They're already leaning in that direction. I think they will continue to enhance that. I think they'll slowly curtail the amount of stuff going to distributors, and I think there will be more and more direct to consumer and direct to like stores and stuff like that. I think it'll be a lot more of that.
Funny, I talked with the guy of marketing, and that was one of the key things in that hour-long interview. Mm-hmm. He emphasized multiple times on LCSs and Fanatics relationships going forward with card shops.
That's fair. Any thoughts on this one, Luke? You're kind of in the same boat, thinking the same way?
Yeah.
I think he's trying to figure out what he's going to do if his $100 doesn't pan out. Sounds good, Kevin. No worries. NB Collectibles, good evening. Agree with Brad. For me, it's been O-Pee-Chee hockey since 1988. I complete the base set every year. Totally fair. That makes a lot of sense.
Nice. You know what I switched, though? I mean, I used to do all the O-Pee-Chee sets, but I switched over to Tim Hortons. And I do my Tim Hortons set every year, and I have all of them. And I truly, really enjoy doing the Tim Hortons every year.
Do you collect like a full master set?
I was going to say, do you do a master set of that?
Yeah, I do a master. Well, not jersey cards, obviously, or like the crazy ones, but yeah.
There you go. All right. So sounds good. Logan says it's going to be Boston. Well, Eric will appreciate that. I need to settle that one down.
There you go.
Any thoughts on Linus Ullmark passing fastest wins record? I had to look it up because I had no idea who he was talking about. And that's a Boston Bruin, which maybe makes me care less. But apparently he has 31 wins in 38 games.
Yeah. No, he's been a while back there. But you know what? When he scored the goal the other night, TSN did it showed all the goals that goalie scored. Mm-hmm. And they put his by far is the best goal ever scored by a goalie. Like did you guys watch it? Did you watch it?
I feel like I saw the clip. Yeah, I feel like I saw the clip.
Like he got the puck and he ripped it like you couldn't get a better shot. It was awesome.
There you go. So that might be his magical moment. 2023 Topps regular set does have autos of 1 per jumbo box and 1 of 3 box of hobbies. Yes, Doug, thank you. And there's sticker autos and lots of players to sign. Good stuff. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the confirmation. I agree with Brad. Devils are killing it. Shout out New Jersey. There you go. Seems fair.
Mm-hmm.
If they want a 10X, they got to include something at the stadium. Yeah, I think that, honestly, because they already have the Fanatic stores, they'll probably sell product at the stadium. Eric appreciates it. It's $100. It could have been used on a cup tin. I don't think for $100 you might not be able to get the tin. Luke, are you pawning off the tins?
I have them. Yep.
There you go. But are you pawning them off? Or you actually sell them off, or you just keep them?
No, I usually keep them and then I throw them out later on. He's got no room.
This seems to defeat itself. I think that's fair. All right. An authorized Fanatics dealer. There you go. Cleanest goalie goal I've seen. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Carlos needs to step up in sports games. Sound like Brad, the comeback card investor in sports awareness. He's probably right. I'll be honest. Like, as I get older, I care less. I'm not even going to hide it. Like, I'm being honest. I care less. I'll watch. The only thing I really watch consistently, honestly, is the baseball playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch a little bit of the NHL playoffs, but honestly, I don't care about regular seasons at all. And I have the MLB.TV package, so I'll watch some games just to justify the cost of the thing. But I'm sitting there like, do I really care about by game 76? Not really. No, because there'll be another game tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. I used to like hang on every single thing, but I'm like, why? I'm interested. Get to the playoffs, and then I'm interested. And it tends to be the case even with the hockey package. I have it as well. It's one of those things I can watch a bunch of hockey games, and I'll watch some Stars games here and there. But honestly, I'm like, I don't care what you do in the regular season. That's why I make fun of Eric when he talks about the Bruins. It's like, dude, I don't care what they're doing right now. I don't care if they go 82-0. You lose in the first round, I will cackle. Like, you better actually win in the playoffs because that's actually what counts. You can go 82-0 in the regular season. I'll give that to you for the next 10 years. If you win 0 cups and go 82-0, I will laugh every single year in game 83, 4, and 5, and 86. Every year. Game's 86.
That's good.
That's right. That's right. But like, no, that's the reality is that I have only a certain, and like, I have a certain amount of time, and I've decided that a lot of times just the live sports, and the NFL is one that I'll watch regular season games. At least the NFL, I'll still enjoy the spectacle of the regular season, and I'll put that one on my TV. And I'll watch the Monday Night Football, the Sunday Night Football, and sometimes the Thursday night, even though the Thursday nighter isn't very good. The NFL has done a very good job selling its regular season package where you can still watch the regular season games, but everybody else is like, guys, I don't care what happens in the regular season. Play your games and let me know what happens after that. He won't pass Brodeur on goals, though. Marty is the GOAT. There you go. Now we're keeping up on the goalie scoring record. Interesting. Agreed. I like to get some minor league baseball games during the summer, but not interested in watching much pro sports. College football still watch. Yeah, minor league. Like, if I could go to some minor league games, I would love to. That is still fun for me. Major League Baseball, I don't enjoy the regular season sport of it anymore. Like, I just don't enjoy it. The playoffs, I can still get invested. I'm actually invested in even all the teams. I'll actually watch all the playoffs. So I can still get into that because the games mean more. The pitchers have to increase the intensity accordingly because now all of a sudden it matters if you give up a home run, even if it's in second inning. It matters a little bit more. But they've got that. But the minor league sport is still a pure version of the game and much more enjoyable to me. The same reason that I enjoy the AHL. If I was in a position to watch more AHL games on TV and stuff, I'd probably watch those. Those are at least still fun. It feels like they're trying a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the Leafs will do if they can't get over the hump and win a series? I feel like, Brad, do you remember Pinky and the Brain?
Yep.
Yeah, you remember the cartoon, Pinky and the Brain? Yeah. I feel like in this situation, it's like, what do the Leafs do every year? Try to take over the world. And that never happens. And it's just the same thing over and over again. We'll do what we do every night. It's like the Leafs will do what they do every season. Come up with some excuses and then try again.
I like now, like you can even see them talking about Dubas. It's like, well, if they go out in the first round, he still did a hell of a job. Like that's what a lot of the biased Toronto announcers, and I have not, if Toronto wins the Stanley Cup, I'll be happy for them. I'm not saying that, but
I won't go that far. I'm in the local market. Like they would be insufferable if they ever actually won anything.
True. I I guess I have my hobby hat on when I say that.
That's fair. That's a
From
different conversation. That's fair.
From a hobby standpoint, if Toronto wins the Stanley Cup, hey, that's going to be good for the hobby.
Sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. But like, look, I know when I think of the Leafs fan base at this point, they remind me an awful lot of the Boston Red Sox. It's one of those things like you'd almost be willing to feel bad for them, but I'm like, no, I know if we give you anything, you will be insufferable. So you know what? You get nothing. No soup for you. Suffer forever. Dubas will be handed his pink slip after the final horn, probably. If we're being honest, probably.
Yeah.
Like I said, the expectation in this market is always a bit of an issue, unfortunately for them. Expectations are a thing. Like, when I was paying a lot more attention to it, listen to local sports radio is crazy. It's fun. It's very funny to listen to, but like they are out of their minds. Out of their minds. It's fantastic. I don't see them not re-signing Dubas. He's done a hell of a job. I'm not sure who would be an upgrade at the GM position. That may not matter. It may just be a matter of public perception, and they may just feel like a change is warranted just for the sake of a change. It might not be a good move. It might actually regress them and move them back years.
Don't you think that most of those moves, when it comes to GMs and coaches, really from the standpoint of the job they did, doesn't really matter? It's public perception, like you said.
Yes,
Like,
totally, 100%. That's the unfortunately, like let's be fair about it. That's the consequence of being in this market is problematic because there's this high expectation and no legitimate reason. Why would you suddenly have high? The last time they won was 1967. There were 6 teams in the league. You had a 1 in 6 chance to win. Since then, you've won nothing. As soon as they had a 7th team, you were doomed.
Yeah.
It was no good. That's been fun. Even like I said, even the other teams that you would think, oh well, these other teams would drop off. The other original 6 teams have all at least had a shot at it, even if they didn't win. They've all had a chance. The Montreal Canadiens were still good for the following decade. Extremely successful. The 70s for the Canadiens, it's hard to argue they didn't have success. They had plenty of success. The Bruins won a Stanley Cup. They won 2, I think. 2, if memory serves me. In like that, like, yeah. So you also had the 1 or 2 in the 70s with the Orr team, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was 1 or 2.
2.
So you got that, and then you had the more recent ones. So you got that. The Canadians had the run in the 70s, then in 86, then in 93, and that's the end of that. But at least they had that success in the post-original 6 era. The Rangers won in 94. There you go. Congratulations. The Red Wings obviously had success. Congratulations. All the other original 6 teams at least had some success. Chicago won some Stanley Cups.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 in total there. So guess what? Everybody else managed. The other 5 of the original 6 teams managed. It's Toronto that struggles with it. Too much Boston hate tonight. There can never be too much Boston hate. That is not possible. Or they upset the owner. That's very true. Very true. Any cards you're trying to get in your hands on currently? Ooh, I like that. I'm going to start with you, Luke. Luke, what are you trying to get your grubby hands on? What are you doing? What are you doing over there?
Well, that Marvel's that McFarlane Spider-Man, the prismatic ones, 1 to 6. I'm trying to get like 3 of them that I want to get to grade again, So, but it's hard to find those.
Fair. I think that's fair.
Well, I picked up these too. Another couple packs.
Oh,
Of
there
the
you go.
95 Marvel.
Oh yeah.
They're coming in your care package.
Thanks for the last ones, eh?
Yeah, you can open them live, right? Well, we know what Carlos is trying to put his hands on. Really.
Which one now? Which category are we talking about? I've got a few
Yeah.
categories that I chase after. So, but there are ones that I focus on more so. So which one
Sure.
specifically are you talking about?
Well, I'll go Medan. Obviously, Medanos. That was kind of easy, but the
Yeah.
54 Bowman baseball.
So 53 Bowman color.
53
so
Bowman
that's
color.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have little projects though. I actually added a card for the 96 finest gold refractor set. I was able to add one. Actually, Roberto Alomar came up, and I was able to make an offer, and they accepted the offer. So that was a good one. Unfortunately, he was in Baltimore by then, but still, nice card. That's a great card, Hall of Famer. So I'm happy to add that piece. There's some good guys on that checklist, which is a lot of fun adding those ones. That 96 finest set, though, beautiful looking set. It's a great looking set. I got the 53 Bowman color. I got my Dennis PC. Very important, my Dennis PC.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I do have the Medano stuff. Like, we've obviously got the stuff that just came out with the cup. I'm not chasing after anything aggressively, but I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm keeping my eyes peeled. And then we've got that. And then we've got that stupid product I was talking about earlier tonight, that SP Legends. And I looked at the stuff and I was like, oh, there's actually some nice stuff in it. There's even some stuff. I don't know if you guys saw. They had the little product sheet where they show the cards. They showed the mock-ups of the cards.
Yeah.
And they actually included a Medano in one of the mock-ups. Like, oh, come on. You have to show me the damn card too? Not a fan. Not a fan.
Do
Brutal.
they have it?
Yeah, I'll pull it up here. I can actually show you. But it's actually it's concept art, obviously. But I did like I liked how it looked, and I was like, oh, that might actually be decent. I don't know. I might have to chase after that. So we'll see. Here, I'll show you. So they got a couple different subsets they included in it, and so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But check that one out. So that's a set called Evolve. So they got a base version, then they got a parallel, and then they got an autograph parallel. So you can see you start off North Stars. You got the Dallas Star one. By the way, that's like early Dallas Stars there. That's the old black jersey. And then you got the time in Detroit. So you kind of cover the three of them. And then you got room there for the autograph at the bottom, and it's numbered to 35. By the way, they made it 9 to 35 because, of course. But that's a cool card, man. I like the design on that card. At the very least, I'll chase after the base version, and there's a parallel to that one. And I think there's an autograph parallel. But there's a bunch that are like that. It's like I was actually legitimately impressed. I was like, that actually looks decent. If the real card looks like that, I'm like, all right, I'm a bit intrigued. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
And for the people that like the other stuff, they've got those Future Watch cards, literally for veteran players, for like legend players. And the one they included here was the Daryl Sittler, but check that out.
Yeah.
So you got Future Watch cards, numbered to 199, 99, and I think there's one lower. So Medano qualifies as 99 like this. So he's got one of these. I'm like, ooh.
I like
Those
it.
are nice.
Yeah.
I think there's some. I actually think there's some decent designs in it, which is the thing that like is unfortunate for me. Very unfortunate. I got to find out who at Upper Deck's responsible. I know a guy. I'll be having a conversation. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have words. I got to find who's responsible for this. All right. So real quick here, I'll read this. So yeah, stuff like that. I'll keep my eyes open. I think that's coming out next week. I don't want to, but I'm gonna keep my eyes open. I kind of want that Evolve one though. I kind of like that Evolve card. I think it's neat.
I'd like it even more though if it didn't have the letters. I know that gets into the design. If it was the clean, like the him and
Like
the
a progression, like a progression. Yeah.
I think that
for
looks
sure.
awesome.
Yeah, but I still think it looks interesting. I like the concept, so I'm a fan of that. Some of my fondest hockey memories include Boston, like the 88 and 90 finals. I know, pretty great, right? I couldn't agree more. I like to get an E126 Alexander. Otherwise, just chipping away at the Gaudy premiums. E126, huh? I used to know that one a little bit, but it's been a while. E26 Alexander. Let's see if I can find a picture. That's a very specific issue, though. Interesting. All right. I can actually pull up a picture of this one. So, according to Dave, he's chasing after this one. Now, Eric, Brad, you're more than welcome to pull this out of your back pocket if you have it. So there's the Grover Alexander E126 series of 60. So is that the one, Dave? Basically, you have to let us know.
Yeah.
Looks interesting though. That's a classic.
I do not have that.
Luke, do you ever see yourself using this channel to expose horrible customers to deal with? Ooh, exposed. Hashtag exposed.
There's never horrible customers.
Wow, that's a politically correct answer right there.
No, that's terrible. I will go against you and say there is horrible customers.
That's true.
I have a Rolodex, Luke. I'll send you a list.
Oh,
we have a list of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we keep a list and we have it. We send it around. I got a great one this week.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Should I even read it? I don't know.
Well, I'll leave that up to you, but I'll read a couple of these first and get caught up. Leafs need a good goaltender to do well in the playoffs. Yeah, that always helps. Absolutely. Belfour, Potvin, Cujo, Bauer. I don't know if Belfour was quite as good for Toronto, but Belfour at least was a legendary goaltender, so that is true. And Potvin had some success for sure. Cujo's had success, and Johnny Bauer, of course, certainly. The key to Leafs success is good goaltending. The key to a lot of team success is good goaltending. That makes up for a lot. I like the look of this year's O-Pee-Chee. Yep, I agree. I think it looks solid. Yep, Dave says, yep, that's the correct one. I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to read what you have there?
Oh yeah, I got this one. And I tried to call the guy back, and it says 46 card order and 60% are nines. LOL. F PSA. I definitely will be taking my business elsewhere. But then he signs off, "Never again, buddy." And away he goes.
Nice. I like it.
You get them all, and it comes with everything. And sometimes guys are just upset over things and they're relying on this order to pay bills. Or I'm not saying that's the case with this one, but you get all kinds. And then you get some really, really good ones as well. So
I think that's fair.
And we know when we give cards back, if we do have the opportunity to look at them, that certain people are going to be upset with certain orders, right? One of the guys this week, he never said a word and he just kind of took it, but he's one of the top submitters when it comes to quality cards, and his PSA 10 rate's very big, but he had an order come back that really wasn't that good. But he knows there's good days, bad days. So
makes sense. By the way, I have okay, so real quick, I'll read this comment, and also I got a quick topic for us to finish up on. This will be a fun one, actually. We can have a little bit of fun with it. So Eric, you were saying I had the worst customer in store history this week. We're gonna have to talk about that on Friday then. That sounds to me like a good story for Friday. Need an email of the week segment? You never know. That might not be a bad idea. We'll have to see. All right. So kind of a question for you guys. And I know Brad, you guys do eBay auctions for EMG and stuff like that. One of my favorite things in the world in eBay, if you sell. So from the selling perspective, one of my favorite things is people who are tire kickers and people who make low offers. But my favorite is when they're like very clearly like reaching to try to make something happen, which is a lot of fun. I mentioned those T206s, and one of the cards that I put up on auction, I put it up as an auction. And I had it as a starting price of $29.99 because it's the nicer of the two. And I think it's going to do well, which I think it'll work out very nicely. So somebody made an offer. I forgot if I had turned on offers for this one, but I guess I did. I guess I turned on offers, but I left it open-ended so somebody could make an offer. It's $29.99 starting bid. Their offer is $20. And I'm sitting there like, so your plan for something that literally just started, because there's 6 days and 21 hours left on it. And it has like 12 watchers. I can literally see like 12 watchers on it, and your offer is $20. I'm like, really? The last time I got an offer of $20 on the T206 that I sold last week, it went for almost 60. And I was like, dude, look, there's tire kicking and then there's really desperately reaching here. Now I wonder if it'll let me do it. You know how you have like make a counter offer? All right, hold on. I am counter offering $200. That's more than I expect to get, but now it amuses me. So now you get a $200 counter offer, sir. 10x. They're fanatics. I did it. I 10x'd it.
just like that.
That is your response, sir. $20. Get out of here. Sorry to step out earlier. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow will be my live stream.
Because I'm Carlos.
That's right. PSA, please submit again. Please do. The customers open their orders in front of you. Brad, are they in your house? Are they in your house right now? Blink if you're under duress.
There you go. Honestly, it's funny. We talked about that before about giving out grades, etc. I think it's worse is when people open boxes at AMG and they come in and they buy boxes and open them up in the store. I absolutely hate that. I want people to buy the product, take it home, do their own thing. I hate watching someone open up a box, and if they get nothing, it's tough.
That's fair. It's fair. Let's see here.
I was going to say, when you guys talked about things you're collecting, because the last time I said about my orange set, I actually got a card, and that was on, it was on this show. So 2 other sets that I'm collecting is Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I'd like to get all the autos on that, all PSA graded.
Now, are you looking for a certain specific grade as your minimum or just grade in general?
Yeah, just grade in general. Okay. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Everything I have right now is 9s, 8s and 9s. So I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing this set, which is the 2013-14 blue PMGs. Mm-hmm. So that's again, these could be 10-year projects. So.
All right. Fair enough. I like it.
Now I can put these away and see if I can find someone can give me a card.
Parker says, I had a good laugh over the review about the Instagram DM. There you go. Dave here says, should include a message saying, you're sure he missed a 0 when typing? Yeah, exactly. No, like I said, when it comes to stuff like that, I don't mind. Like, look, as a buyer, that's why the reason I brought it up. As a buyer, I understand trying to make an offer. But I always feel like if I'm a buyer, and in this case, I didn't set a minimum, obviously. I could have set like an auto reject, and usually I do. But at the same time, I'm like, be realistic. A T206 in decent condition that is actually already graded, why do you think you get it for 20 bucks? What would possess you to think that at this point? Like, even for a common, come on now, settle down. So it's one of those things, like, you're not being realistic about this. So at that point, it's like, I'm not even insulted. I'm amused. But at the same time, like, so like I said, my counter of $200, I have no expectation to get $200. But I did see like a 3 and a couple of 2s went for like the 120 to 150 range. And again, it's open auction. If you're right, you can always you can always make a bid at the $29.99 and see if you can win it for 30 bucks. I have no reserve. So if you win it for 30 bucks, you win it for 30 bucks. That's legit. But I've left it open-ended. But it's like, don't give me a ridiculous offer. Otherwise, you're going to get a fun response. I'll amuse myself that way. NB Collectibles says, we can't expect to have all 10s. Me, when I send my stuff to Luke to get graded, it's for my showcase in basement. Issue is guys now is trying to make a living out of this now instead of a hobby. That's fair. I always look at it from whenever I submit the cards, I never expect to get 10s. I do try to be picky on certain cards specifically, but I have to be, my rule, and we've talked about this before on the show, my rule is that I need to be comfortable. If I get a 9, I should still feel like the grading fee is justified. If I do not feel like, if I need a 10 to justify the grading fee, I'm doing it wrong. I'm sending in the wrong thing. The price point is wrong. The card is wrong. That should not be the card I'm sending in. Because, and Brad and Luke, I want to get your take on this. If you're counting on a 10 to make it worth your while, I feel like you're sending in the wrong stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah, unless you're playing the game. If you're playing the big, like the volume game where you're using like you need a certain ratio, then it's a little different. And a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, and if you know what you're doing, so be it. I'm completely cool with that. But I'm talking about guys who are like literally like to like your email. It's like, well, guess what? There's always a possibility they all come back 9s.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes it's bad luck. Sometimes you miss something.
Or you send you run PSA Canada and you send in 3 of your Arthur Kaliev and you get PSA 6s back. So even as I say, and that's 3 of them. I'm going to crack these out and send the labels back in anyways, and just have them raw. But I got 6 of Arthur Kaliev. I had 6 PSA 6s and 1 PSA 10 of the 7 I submitted.
Nice. I love that it came back as 6s.
6s, yeah.
Were you able to find the flaw?
No, well, I do. I think it's the top. But I think it's a shadow. I don't know. It looks like a shadow, anyways. But obviously, it must be on the cards. But I think all of them have it. I'm not sure.
All right.
It's going to be a question though, because when I go to PSA next week, I sit down with a grader for 2 hours.
I was gonna say, could you please bring those cards? And then that's footage. Luke, this is footage I want. I want Brad bringing those cards and going and sitting with a grader and being like, "Answer me!"
Yeah,
and just holding the card. Answer me! I have questions.
Right? It's going to be interesting, and there's a reason, obviously. You know what I
mean? Fair enough. All right, so this one's for you guys here. Caden Korchak from Vegas. He's a rookie. What are your thoughts on him if you recognize the name? Know anything about this one?
I honestly don't.
Me neither.
Yeah. I already excluded myself from this conversation.
Chandler Stevenson with Vegas is good. He's 15, 16.
Yeah, 15, 16.
Yeah, fair enough. So real
I
quick
gotta
here.
stack them somewhere else.
So Dave here says, so you sell them drugs but don't want to see them use it? Absolutely not. I think that's in pertaining to you seeing the people open the.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like, plus it would be a little creepy if they're opening it at Brad's house. That's why I asked the question. I go, what are you doing in my house? This is not a place of business, sir. Good day. Brad, will you be at the shop before you head to San Diego?
Yes, and I have a price for that box that you dropped off as well. So we can talk about that if you want. Just shoot me a text message tomorrow.
Nice. Good stuff. Who are you missing, Brad, on the 13, 14 PMGs?
You know what? If you want to shoot me a text message, it's a big list. I only got I think there's 40, or there's quite a few in the set. I forget, but I only got about 15. It's a long-term project for sure.
All right.
And I should mention that as well. We're today was a big day. Sherry and myself met with the owners of the Bedford Place Mall, where we have our current store, and she signed her name on a new lease, which we already had a new store about a year ago, but we're doubling the footprint. We have an official PSA submission center going in, which is very exciting. I was going to say this at the beginning of the show as well, but we're going to make a store that's for the collector, and we will, with the design and with everything we have and with the input we've taken from a lot of the people in the hobby, I want to say we're going to have one of the nicest stores in existence. So super excited.
Now, do you feel that like I said, now obviously they're early mock-ups that I got a chance to see Brad share some mock-ups with me. Do you feel that the Tom Brady and Tiger Woods shrine is too much? I feel it's too much. I think it was too much. Yeah. You might want to scale that one back just a little. The gold statue in the middle of the store might be a little inappropriate.
Yeah.
Luke, thoughts on this? Like, I just felt like it was too much. I think like I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think we could scale that one back just a little bit.
Okay.
Just throw it out there. Just a suggestion. Just some thoughts. Logan says, no, you said you keep all your bad graded cards that you graded for yourself as a PC.
Yeah. Well, I think I might keep those ones. I cracked the other ones out, and when I thought about it, I actually don't know why I actually did that. It would have been better just to keep them all. So
I think it would have been much, like I said, I stand by it. It would be a lot funnier if you like accuse them and like bring them as like sixes. What is this? Explain it. Is Brad bringing the Benjamins? He might have to. Don't worry, Brad. Issue in the last few years with UD is quality issue. Yeah. No, there have been like, it's a legitimate thing. Unfortunately, and this isn't just UD. Topps obviously has this issue. I talked about when we were at the CSC show. I opened, like with Kevin and at the booth there, I opened a 2021 Chrome product. Nice cards. They had some legendary players. They had some modern players, a mixed bag. 95% of them were off center. Like so horrifically off center. Some of them were borderline miscut. Like they were that bad. And this is straight out of the box. And these are Chrome cards. Like in theory, the Chrome cards should be like super off center. And some of them had like surface issue scratches straight out of the pack, right out of it. The QC was horrific. This is 2021 product, just absolute garbage. So unfortunately, like we'd like to see some better stuff with it. Logan says job resume coming soon. There you go. Brad is just expanding the story so we can have Sons of Anarchy start cards in stock. Maybe.
There we go. Still love one of my favorite series of all time.
Nice. Dave says I'd apply. There you go. I'll apply for doorman, but the shrinkage rate might increase a bit. Or a lot. At least you know if the E126 Grover Alexander shows up, I know where it went. I have suspicions. Good stuff. All right, folks, let's start winding her down here on this one. If you got any last comments or anything, feel free to throw them in there. If you could hit the like button for Eric, he personally appreciates it. He takes it in the front if you do not hit it. I get emails. He sends me phone calls. He fills up my voicemail just to complain that not enough people hit the like button. That's literally what he does. He's got nothing better to do. He's a Boston Bruin fan. He literally has nothing better to do. Nothing. Life is empty. Help this man. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, appreciate you as always. Great questions and comments. Thank you all. We'll have some fun coming up here in the next little bit, and hopefully we'll figure out what happens next scheduling wise with Brad and the team. Obviously, since they're going to be out at PSA, and I've got my list of demands. Luke's got his list of demands. Brad is personally going to demand satisfaction with his PSA 6s, so that's going to be fun. So that'll be cool. And then we'll figure it out. So we'll either reschedule or move it to the following week, but we'll let you all know. We'll give you at least a little bit of a heads up on that piece, and then we'll kind of figure it out from there. But as always, appreciate you hanging out for the evening. All right, so that'll be it for Luke. Any last words of sage wisdom that you would like to give the people?
No, not much. Just I'll be. Yeah, I was just wondering about next week or whatever. But yeah, I'll be. Hopefully, I'll be gone this weekend or whatever to Regina, and then back and finish up all the submissions and. Yeah.
Look, if all else fails, you and I can hold it down, and we can basically just speak for Brad. Yep. We can basically like spread vicious rumors about what Brad discovered over there.
One
We could
hundred
like
percent.
we could sell it. It would be amazing. I got ideas. We'll workshop it. I got ideas.
Absolutely.
Don't even worry about it. We'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. I promise.
For sure.
Okay. So real quick, I'll read a couple of these to finish up. Happy collecting, everyone. Absolutely. Great sentiment, Nova Grower. Thank you for that. I love the AMG location. Glad it isn't the HSC. There you go. Eric says yes. He agrees. Good night, fellas. Even to Eric. There you go. Much love. Thank you all. All right, folks. Have yourself a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. If any of you who hang out on the Friday show, you'll see me there. Same bad time, same bad channel. Usual thing. So we'll catch you. Have yourself a good one. Enjoy the rest of your week.